global goals were set up in 2015. Were set up in 2015 by the UN with hopes to achieve that by 2030. So any activity that you are carrying out, it must align to one of the goal. It must align to one of the 17 goals, and we must achieve them in by 2030. It's true, Cameroon is far back. Doubt if we might ever arrive there. So now I'll ask this question: what thematic or what goal is DOMSA trying to achieve? The floor is open, please. What goal is DOMSA trying to achieve?
I think it's goal number 3, which talks of good health and well-being.
Very good, very good. That is exactly that. SDG number 3 is about health, good health, and well-being. So that's the thematic. It shows that maybe in carving out the niche of DOMSA, they align their goal to a sustainable development goal, because all endeavors should be out to promote health and the well-being of people everywhere in the world, and it begins at the level of your community. So I go now to programs. What are programs? Programs are the thematic or sectors NGOs work within and execute projects related to the sectors. Like we have health, we can talk about SDG 1, SDG 2, SDG 3, 4, 5, up to 17. All those things are programs. And you conduct activities, you carry out works within that particular program, like health, for example, and execute projects related to that sector. I talk of when you take health, there are many projects that you can design from health, but all those activities should be aimed at solving that particular thematic problem or that particular program. I talk, for example, on health. In health, you can do education. In health, you can do sensitization. In health, you can do wash. For example, today, which day are we commemorating today under health? Which day are we commemorating today under health, please?
Menstrual hygiene day.
National
Very good.
hygiene.
Very good. So we are working today on personal hygiene, right? On which is menstrual hygiene day, right? So that's actually what we are talking about. So we should know that there are a lot of things that we can do actually to promote health within our various communities. Like as I talk about the menstrual hygiene day that is being commemorated today. So please let me try to get back where I was. So the next one is a vision. Before you start any activity, you must have a vision. Where are you going to? You don't just get up and in the morning and you just start going about. You must have a vision. And what is the vision of DOMSA? And I'm sure that if I ask you, what is your vision in DOMSA? Please, somebody should be fast in telling us the vision of DOMSA. Hello? What is the vision of DOMSA?
To build capacity, promote solidarity among Domsans and other people, then to develop Donga Mountain, Cameroon at large, and even the world health-wise.
I see that one more like a mission statement. Yeah, I see that one more like a mission statement. Not really as a vision. A vision must be short and it must be unattainable. Because once you have a vision, and if you succeed to achieve your vision, you stop to exist. I will repeat the very statement, please. Your vision should be unattainable, and it should be very short and precise. That if you get up in the morning every day, at any time they ask you, you'll be ready to give it out. Because I'm sure if I make a kind of a sample opinion of all of you, like not a person now, that what is a vision of DOMSA? People might not be, it will not be easy for us to give it out. I'll ask, for example, if they ask you the vision of MTN, I wish I'm having here, MTN everywhere you go. MTN everywhere you go. Do you think there will be a possibility that one day in the world, everywhere you go, you will see MTN? No. But that's their vision. That maybe if they know that that's what they are driving towards, that's where they are going to. And anywhere where they see the possibility of having MTN, they'll go there. And you see, it's very short and simple and clear. Everywhere you go, MTN everywhere you go. Because the day they will succeed to reach that destination, that everywhere you have MTN, it means they will stop to exist. Now, why would they be looking for again? Because they've already achieved their vision. They have already reached there. So it causes now for them to get relaxed. But since they know that maybe there is this space somewhere where there's no MTN, they need to keep on fighting. I go to next one. Microsoft, a computer on every desk and every home. Do you think there will be possibility where somewhere in the world, every home, every desk you see a computer, every home you see a computer? No, that's for Microsoft Word. So a vision is an inspirational short statement of an idealistic emotion, future of a group. So it must be an idea that can evoke emotion within people. It must be able to evoke emotion within people. That, but these people is like they are saying something. They are going somewhere. Can I journey with them? Can I join them in reaching out to what they want to accomplish in the world? So your vision must be able to evoke passion, compassion, the emotion of driving people to belong, really cause people to really wish to belong. And also, please, I've talked about the aspect of inclusiveness. It avoid to use statements that will make people to feel that maybe this is for Ndonga Mantum. This is only for Ndonga Mantum. Why should I belong? It means I cannot belong. It means it is not inclusive. It is not inclusive. It is discriminatory. I go for that. Objectives. The next term, the last thematic or term. Objectives. Something a group plans to achieve. An objective is something a group plans to achieve. You carry out activity to achieve your objective, which help you in meeting your vision. So you need to have objectives, and those objectives permit you to carry objectives to achieve your. Sorry, you have objectives. We should carry out activities that permits you to attain your objectives. And your objectives, when you meet your objective, you attain your vision. So we have activities reaching out to objective reaching out to vision. And a vision is a far-fetched dream. I go to the next slide. We have the SDGs. We have our SDGs, the 17 SDGs. 1. No poverty. 2. Zero hunger. 3. Good health and well-being. So there's no need for us to over-labor on that. I'm going to send this slide so you can have a clear cut of about this thing. And I want you to get this point very clear. Please, it's always good to have your niche. Focus on one thematic and be best in that. Focus in one SDG and be best in that. And when they say who are the 4 most important SDG 4 partners in Bamenda, they should talk about DOMSA. Don't go and take 5, 4 when you are not good in one. Master your one niche and focus on it. Empower yourself, train yourself, and then you will know that maybe you will definitely make it in that particular niche. And if they say they need this particular partner in health, they will need to mention them, sir. So don't go about beating about the bush. Just focus on one thing and you'll get there. I go to next slide. How now? Let us go now to the key concern of tonight: creation of an organization. How an organization is being created. The first thing you need to do is what? Idea generation. Generate your idea. What do you want to do? Remember that all of us are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are born when there's a problem. Entrepreneurs are born when there's a problem. If a problem at times is more important than a solution. A problem at times is more important than a solution. I explain why. Now, if you never people never understood that there was a need for you to promote health, you would have created DOMSA exist. So it means you are generating an idea, which is that of what promoting health in your community. So what problem do you want to solve? You should not only end at solving the problem because there are people that are there solving the problem, but the way they are solving it is not the way you people would have loved it to be solved. Now you now come about what added value do you bring on the board? You must bring something new. What is new that you are bringing? Because if you go on and create the same thing that you people saw, it means you are also part of the problem. So you must be ready to bring an added value. You must be ready to bring an added value. If you don't have any added value, it means you are also obsolete. You will also be a problem. And then there's a very important principle on humanitarian activities. They do no harm principle. You should not come and create something that will create a problem instead to people. Don't create a solution that you instead bring problem to people. Be a solution, not a problem. Next thing, idea analysis. You need to analyze your ideas. You people started something, health, and then you went to education, you went to poverty. Now you analyze your education, you have what, how can we best do this? You need to analyze and then you come at a conclusion that adoption of your niche, you adopt your niche, your program, that no, it's good that we should focus on health. Where should we focus? Should we focus on empowering the capacities of health personnel? Should we focus on the sensitization of patients? Should we focus on the sensitization of health personnel? Should we focus on the provision of wash materials? Should we focus on what? So when you understand, you analyze your ideas, you adopt a particular niche and you focus on that. Next thing, communication of idea. Because once you have come up with something, an idea, you need to communicate to your stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders? Stakeholders are your community people. Youths, children, adults, women, disabled, marginalized persons. You need to communicate your partners, your donors, communicate your ideas. What are you people trying to do? Are you sure the Donga Mountain population know that if there's dumpster and you know this is what they're doing? You need to communicate your idea to your people, to your stakeholders. Communicate your ideas. Funders, partners, everybody need to have a strong communication plan. You have a strong communication plan. Then now you come now to development organizational plan. What you call a SWOT analysis. You need to do a SWOT analysis of your organization where you sit down, measure your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Measure them very well. Do a thorough analysis of this your organization. You analyze them, come up with your vision, your objective, your short-term and your long-term plans. Who are your partners and your resources? So those are some of the things that you need to do, a kind of a business plan. We call it organizational plan in NGOs, but in other terms, you call it a business plan for businesses. You need to know where you're going to. Know it exactly, this is where I'm going to, and this what I need to do in order to achieve this. So you need to go do a thorough and a well concise organizational plan. There are structures that are ideal in doing that. They assess your abilities and it advise on what and where to go to. Next thing, identification of common actors with similar vision. You need to know your competitors. It is very important. Who are the similar people that are doing the same thing with you? And believe me, in business, you fight your competitors. But in NGOs, you network, you partner with them. Remember, you're not doing business or where you need to be fighting with somebody. You complement. Talk about complementarity. That's what Salim Bunyo always says. Complementarity, not fighting. We are not competing. We are complementing ourselves. So when you identify your common actors with whom you are in the same cluster with, you need to network with them. You need to partner with them because those are people that will make you grow. You share your having similar vision and values. Talk about the founders or vision bearers who are beyond others. So now, when you come now, you share with your other partners. You come within your organization, assess in your organization who is Sandra having the same vision with Hope. Is Hope having the same vision with Brian? Is Brian having the same vision with Chuyi? So you analyze and you see that maybe if you are ready to carry the project as co-founders or founders, you people need to hold it together and know that maybe we should be moving on the same footing. Nobody should be left behind because it's clear people will be there to play around. But the vision bearers must never let the dream die because they know where they are going to. They should never let the dream die. I go to next thing: community mobilization and participation, acceptance and inclusion. Community mobilization, it means that what when you have carved out that maybe you are in Donga Mountain, you need to mobilize your community and let them be partners of your project, of your organization. Know that maybe without them, you will never succeed. Because anything you need to do, you must first of all go there in your community and then lead to accept you. In humanitarian intervention, the acceptance is very, very important. If you're not accepting your community, then you'll never do anything somewhere. If you're not accepting your community, you'll never do anything anywhere. So that's what I wanted to make us to understand that uh, acceptance is very, very important. Now, you go about the group formation. How is a group form? You need to have a big board of directors. Board of directors must not be necessarily be you people. You need to consider an executive. You need to have partners. You have donors. You need to have volunteers. You need to have a clear chart that earmarks clearly who are your board of directors, who are your executives, who are the partners, who are the donors, and who are the volunteers. You need to have a clear chart of those people that you want to target as board of directors, executives, and all the like. Then you can, when that is done, you can now call your general assembly for its formation. General assembly is supreme organ of an association. Is supreme organ of an association. General assembly formation. A general assembly is everybody. Everybody. Board of directors, executive, partners, volunteers, donors, members. That's your general assembly. When that is done, you can now call for a constitutional general assembly. You can summon a constitutional general assembly for legal procedure, because it's a constitutional general assembly now that gives the right for its existence, and it is there that they decide, they take decisions, articles, decisions, resolutions, as far as its functionalities are concerned. Now, when that is done, you constitute documents, what they call paperwork, constitution of documents for declaration of existence. The first document that's very important is the status or the constitution of the association. The status or the constitution, or you can call it article of associations. It's of status or constitution. That one is always designed by experts. It's always designed by experts or by a law firm, because it has to do with law binding principles. So we have the statutes and the constitution that is designed by law practitioners. Then we have the minutes of the Constitutional General Assembly, the minutes of the Constitutional General Assembly, and because there you must have the binding laws that you, the resolution that you decided in the Constitutional General Assembly, and the names of people that were in attendance. Minimum there, it should be, I will say minimum should be around 6 persons that must feature in the document. But it's always good to attach all the people that were actually present, where you have their names, their ID card numbers, their functions, their emails, their you can attach their ID, photocopies of the ID cards on that particular minute. Then you have now the last document is a franked application. A franked application, you need to apply to the SDO through the DO for a creation of an association. And you might make this, you should have to make this in 6 copies, because 1 copy will remain at the subdivision level, 2 copies will remain at the senior divisional level, 2 copies will remain at the level of the region, and then 1 copy will be sent directly to your unit for the Ministry of Minat, because it's a general body that oversees association, the functioning of associations. That done is done. You go now to a launching of activities. You can decide any way to launch your activities. It can be a fundraising occasion, it can be a gala night, or it can be a community outreach program, but where you need to invite people to tell them about what you're out to do. And in the course of doing that, you can launch a project where people can come now to support you people. Then, next one is reporting. Reporting is very, very vital. Reporting is very, is the very essential thing in any association. Reporting. If you do something, you don't report. You have done our microphones, and then you take snapshots. You take screenshots of what we have done. so that we should capture it and then write a report at the end. And this is what was done on this particular day. Is very, very important. Reporting is very, very important. I want to stress on this thing. Reporting is very important. With no report, nothing has been done. So report is very vital. It's like your partners, because you need to report to your partners, report to your stakeholders, administration weekly, monthly, or annually. And remember you please, you need to send your report to your SDO every year. That is what we have done throughout this month, this year. This is what we have done. Because it shows that maybe you people are actually doing something. Why? Because after 2 or 3 years, you need to come and apply for an upgrade from association to NGO. You need to inform them maybe we have moved from an association to an NGO to the DO to the SDO. The next one is what? Creation of a website. Creation of a website is to connect you from your locality to the outside world. Because in a website, people can come and view and see what you are doing. It's global. So it's just connecting you from the local level to international level. That's why you need to have a website. Then next thing is what? Obtaining an office space. As a moral entity, you must have a location to access serious donors. If you're an association and you don't have any office space, you are just like somebody with no house. Do you think you can give 1 million to somebody to go and execute a project? What if the person runs the money? Where are you going to catch the person? So it's the same thing that if you, as a moral person, you don't have any location, it means no serious donor will ever come and give you money. Seriously, no serious donor will ever come and give you money. So you need to have and that office. It is a house of the association that if there's a problem, they can come and hold the house. They are not holding you, the executive director. They are not holding you, the members there. They are holding the association, not you. And the association is entitled to a legal person to defend him beside the court, before the court of law, not you as the executive director, because you as an employee there, you are working under the person, and that person is the organization, which is a moral person, it's a body, it's an embodiment of somebody. So you need to see that maybe an organization is a person that is existing, it's a moral person that is existing. So I want to stop here now and take questions, sub questions, because there are already, we still have another 2 slides. But before I even get there, it's good I should just explain this thing. Association function under declaration system and not authorization like political parties and churches. So once you do, associations yes, you are fully recognized by the state. So once you obtain your acknowledgement letter, you are fully recognized by the state, and any modification of the document submitted should be reported to the administration 2 months before. If you make any modification on your acknowledgement letter, you need to notify the agent that you have made a modification on your document. So now I take this example. Document to Health Student Association is less sustainable than the United for Health Promotion among the underprivileged. I wonder we should take this thing. This is a kind of a discussion. I want to have a discussion now. To you, please listen very well. To you, please, do you think that Donga Mental Health Student Association is sustainable more than United for Health Promotion among the underprivileged? Someone should explain to me why he thinks Donga Mantum is Health Student Association is better than UniHepao, or is UniHepao more sustainable than Donga Mantum Health Student Association? Somebody should explain, please. I think you can see from the slide, so the question is there. Somebody can take the unmute the mic and talk, please. Well, I don't know if the question was well understood. I have 2 organizations here that I want to use as our examples. We have DOMSA on one end, and then we have UniHepao on another side. Now, we have Donga Mental Health Student Association on one side. I'm saying, between these 2 organizations, which one is sustainable that can last for long? Is it Donga Mantum, that's DOMSA, or UniHepao? Please, this name, United for Health Promotion among the underprivileged, is just a name that I just coined it for this purpose of tonight, or this session. So which one do we think is more sustainable that can last for long, like in 10 years or in 20 years to come? Which one can last?
I think I would need to know more about the uni. Is it Unipal or University?
UniHepao. There's nothing.
Yes.
It's not a name that I just coined. I just coined that name. It's not existing. I just coined it myself.
Okay. I think we will last
Yes.
longer. because
Which
we
one?
are
Domsa, yes. Mm-hmm.
yes, because we already have a structure in place and
Mm-hmm.
we are operational and we have been carrying out activities.
Okay. Okay. I think just to cut it short, I think let me come at this point because of time. Let me say one thing. Remember above I wrote there that any modification any modification of a document or a document, you need to notify the senior divisional officer that you have modified this. I'm saying this because we had faced this situation. Our structure was initially referred to as Anyajua Youth Empowerment Association. Anyajua Youth Empowerment Association. Anyajua is a village from where I'm coming from, abbreviated as ANYA. That's the acronym. Now, along the way, we found out that people were complaining that maybe they cannot come into it because they are not from Anyajua. They cannot come in there because they are not from there. And when you go and see funders, they will say, but why are you discriminating? Why is it that maybe everything that comes in must only go to Anyajua people? If you have a funder, which funder will be ready to we are talking about global, we are going globally, we are not locally, we are going globally. In the long run, you people will need to grow. In 1 year or in 2 years, you have to look for funders that are coming from the US, from Europe, and those ones will be saying, but why will I also go and only focus on only on Donga Mountain? They want to have organizations that are inclusive, not that they are discriminating, because it's like discriminating. The word Donga Mountain is like it is only for Donga Mountain people. And somebody from Momo will never come and join it. Bengui, I cannot come and join it there. I cannot join Donga Mountain because I'm not from Donga Mountain, because all resources that will be coming in will diverted only for Donga Mountain. So what I think, for my humble opinion, is that United for Health Promotion among the underprivileged is going to last longer, or is going to exist in time more than Donga Mountain, because it is inclusive. It is not limited. When somebody says it's clear. Then the word health promotion, it is there. It is maintained that it's all about promoting health. It is not for it's not so it cuts across. You see, it cuts across. It's just like maybe when you say policeman. When somebody say policeman, it's discriminating, because what about women? There are some words that people don't want to say again. Policeman, policeman, or how would I put it again? Or gate man. We talk of security officers, or police officers, because it is inclusive, because it is not like for men or for women or for women. So I want that maybe it's just a suggestion though, that if there's a way that maybe in a long run or in a short run, the term Dongamanto could be rephrased or could be modified so that it could be inclusive, it will be an advantage for Domsa. For example, when we realized that maybe we had difficulties actually with Anyanya Youth Empowerment Association, we had to write back to the SDO that our association has been modified from Anyanya Youth Empowerment Association to Anya Foundation. Anya Foundation. Simple. We've maintained our nucleus, and we just added foundation to it. So at least it should be inclusive. That's anybody hearing it should not be asking that maybe is it only for Anyadra, or is it only for this and that. So just that maybe people should not feel that it's only for Donga Mountain. So that, thank you very much for that. I think we can go to our next slide. Now, how do we migrate now from an association to an NGO? How that's we are now ready our growth. We are ready our growing already, because we need to grow. Because when you what I wanted to say that it is obvious that if your partners, your primary partners are mostly Donga Mountain elites and people having affiliations with Donga Mountain, it is clear the project is good, it's superb, because definitely it causes them to feel belonging and feeling contributing also to the well-being of the their population, and it's even their mandate to even do that. So you are helping them. So it's perfect. But we are talking about the short term and the long term possibilities. In the long term, when you people grow, you have issues with the aspect of inclusiveness. So you have issue of inclusiveness. So as I said, it was a suggestion that maybe is you people to look into a direction from donors operate for most NGOs that people call NGOs in Cameroon here. All of them are functioning under the declaration status of associations. All, I mean all. Whereas the Center for Democracy in Africa of Abobala, there are all associations. Center for Human Rights and Peace Advocacy, there are all associations. Anya Foundation, the association. Aya Foundation, the association. They are all legalized at the level of the division, the SDO. But for you to have an NGO, you must have existed for 3 years, at least 2 years. And when you now write to the SDO, they will forward you now to the level of the Minister of Territorial Administration for approval, for authorization to operate as an NGO. But since in Cameroon they will have what they call toleration, toleration. We always tolerate things. So most things are functioning. Most NGOs are functioning in Cameroon as associations, but they have the status of an NGO. But most NGOs in Cameroon operate with declarations of association. So the only modification comes at a level of one, the structure and organigram. Now, in association, you have the president. In most associations, they have presidents, they have secretaries, they have vice president, they have treasurer, they have a bossa, all this sort of stuff. But when you come now to NGOs, you can just modify your status. And instead of calling the president, you call that what? Executive director. You not call executive director. Your patrons, you call them what? Board of directors. Your general secretary, you call it what? Program director or program coordinator. Your secretary or communication officer, you call it communication officers, accountant, M&E. That's project manager, you call it M&E or project manager and all the likes. So that's where the differences comes in at a level of organigram and structure. Because all these things are very important. You need to have a board of directors in association, in an NGO. You need to have an executive director in an NGO. You need to have a program director, a project manager, M&E, an accountant, and a communication officer. Those are some ones that are enumerated, where you can continue to enlarge your structure. Then now, you talk about principles, stroke values. NGOs function based on humanitarian principles. We are talking about NGOs now. NGOs, we want to move from an association to NGO. Because association, you never talk about principles, humanitarian principles. You will never talk about that. But when it comes in the humanitarian field, you have principles that you must abide to. And the first principle, which is very important, is humanity. Everything you do when it comes to NGO, you must put humanity first. Humanity first. Life saving. Life saving is primordial. There is no better thing to do than saving life when it comes to humanitarian principles. If you are sent to a community to go and execute a project, if you see your life at risk, don't go. Even if you are going there to rescue lives, don't go, because your life is, first of all, more important than whatever you are going to do. A best humanitarian is the one that is safe. The principle of do no harm. Don't go and harm yourself because you want to go and save others. Sorry. Next one is neutrality. You need not to take side. You are non-government, you are non-for-profit, you are not there for the government, you are not there for any camp. We are taking in terms of the crisis of the Anglophone crisis, for example, that we are here. You need to stand your ground, that show yourself, market yourself to be accepted in your community. That you are neutral, you are there for the poor, you are there for the underprivileged, you are there for the community, you are there for your stakeholders. You are not there to take side with the government or the other camps. I don't want to call names. The aspect of impartiality. Impartiality, no discrimination. We are there. It's not because you have an affinity with Donga. That's why the aspect of non-inclusiveness comes in. If you are carrying on an activity in Donga Mountain, Domsa is carrying an activity, and it happens maybe doing it in Yaoundé. What happens if somebody from Boyo comes in? Sorry, I'm taking Boyo. If somebody from Boyo comes in and is there in the crowd and also wants to benefit from your services, are you sure there will be no tendency? I mean, since it's in Domsa, we'll give preference to Domsa, will not give preference to somebody from Boyo. That's the aspect of impartiality. We should not be impartial in what we are doing. Any life is important. Whether it's from whether it's from Dongamantu, whether it's from Boyo, whether it's from Momo, whether it's from Mezam, every life is important. So this principle of impartiality actually comes to buttress what I was saying above. Another one is independence. Independence is the fact that maybe you stand as a separate body. We don't mingle. It goes to buttress the aspect of neutrality. Independence, you are not functioning based on the likeness of the government. You're not functioning based on the likeness of the non-state actors. You're functioning based on your own principles. You're independent. You don't depend on. It's not because the founder has given you that it must impose that you must go and do but this one. If you outline your policies and they don't align with the donors, or it might influence principles, then partners. Who are your partners? As you said, in associations, you have in an NGO, there are national partners and then we have international partners. And not collecting money from the poor for project. Though, because most organizations, those associations, what they do, I have a association in my community where they organize fundraising end of year. Yeah, I'm sure they also do that in Dongaman too. Where you see a poor person doesn't have money and he or she is being imposed to pay development levy. When the person is already paying taxes to the government, and you see impose on that poor person to contribute money to go and give for development. It's a mentality that is deep within us in our own communities, where we contribute money and go and give for people to embezzle, and they don't exactly carry out the project which we are supposed to do. Now with NGOs, they don't collect from the poor, but they empower the poor because they have national donors and international donors. They look for money because the money is available. My mentor always says that with NGOs, there's just a lot of money in the gutter, but there's nobody to pick. There's just no money to pick, and we need to write enough project to get those fundings. Now the vision of an association and that of an NGO is completely different. They are completely different. A vision of an association is might be for community development, but for an NGO is humanity first, compassion, non-for-profit, volunteering, and doing no harm principle. Volunteering is partner with NGOs. You can never pay a volunteer, not because he doesn't need money, but because whatever you are giving a volunteer, there's no money that is worth what the volunteer is doing. Saving life. Saving life. Volunteering does not mean the person should go and kill his or herself, please. Volunteering means we should give the person a minimum support for him or her to carry out the activity that he or she is supposed to conduct. Then the next one is organizational policies. Organizational policies, there are a lot of documents that maybe NGOs need to function. A lot of documents that when a M&E, a monitoring and evaluation officer comes to evaluate your organization, you need to check those documents. We talk of personnel policy, communication policy, computer policy, procurement policy, fixed asset policies, strategic growth plan, and other documents. You need an office space, you need a website, you need workers, and you need volunteers. So that's how you migrate from association to NGOs. We are moving from association to NGO. So if a dumpster is already an association, which I doubt because people said people have not yet gotten a document, legalized document, you need to do that to have that. And you need to function for 2 years with reports well kept before you can think of migrating to an NGO. I'll go to the next slide. Sustainability and growth. We are almost at the last slide of our presentation for tonight. A lot of sustainability and growth. So what are some of the strategies and the tips that we need to use in order to keep our organization running, be it associations or NGO? How do we grow? The first one, you need to do a re-examination of your organization. DOMSA needs to do a reorganization of their organization. Conduct a SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? Where you see your strength, focus on that. Capitalize on that. Work on it. Strengthen your strength. What are your weaknesses? Where you see your weakness, what can you do to work on your weaknesses? because somebody else was going to exploit your weaknesses. Work on your weaknesses by conducting what? Capacity building for your weaknesses. Buying equipment to fill up the gaps. Restructuring to fill up the gaps for your weaknesses. Opportunities. What are all the opportunities that you have? If you are in health, what are the opportunities? In 2 years, in 3 years, how will you exploit these opportunities? Your threats. What are your threats? And then you prepare yourself to counter those threats. Prepare yourself to counter the threats that will come your way. So you need to do a reorganization of your organization. If you do, anybody that is growing and it doesn't conduct a self-evaluation of his or herself, is the person that is doomed. So at any point, then you need to do a kind of a recycling, a re-examination of what you are doing, where you are going to refocus on what you are actually out for, so that you should not go wayward. Next thing, develop a sustainability plan, a roadmap. Have a roadmap, clear roadmap. Another one will call it a strategic growth plan, a business plan in business, sustainability plan in NGOs. Have a good sustainability plan. What will make your organization to grow? Other people do what is what they do. NGOs, what is what they do. When you create an NGO, you come out with small business activities that can sustain when you have a project of, for example, 5 million or 10 million, administrative cost is mostly 5%. Take 5% of the money you keep, or you can take 10%. You can right for 10%. You take 10% of the money, 1 million. Start with a small business. That small business can enable to pay your workers for 1 year because it's going to be generating profit. Or you can come up with other activities that maybe bring some small money to the organization for you to pay your workers, but not for you to share the money among yourself, please, because the association needs to grow. The organization needs to grow. Have a clear roadmap. Next thing, stress on the need for continuous fundraising. Continuous fundraising. That only thing that makes association to grow is fundraising. You need to be looking for funds. Always looking for funds. Always looking for funds. And you look for funds through project writing. What is your project? What do you want to fundraise for? What do you want to raise funds for? So you need to fundraise continuously and continuously. Write as many projects as possible. I was talking to my mentor yesterday. He called me that he told me clearly that Elvis, please, you need to be submitting projects, at least a project a week, at least a project a week per month. So at least we need to have 4 projects per month submitted, and among the 4, at least 1 must be selected. So you need to submit as many fundings as possible. Please, there's a website. There's site for fund for NGO. Please, there is this website. I want that you should go there. Funds for NGOs. Fund for NGOs. When you subscribe to it, they'll be sending you emails as far as funding opportunities are concerned. Anytime there's a funding opportunity, they will send to you on your email, and you get there and you apply. And for individuals, you can start applying on a pollination grant. Pollination grant is a website where there are emergencies, you can just apply it at once. Apply, even individuals can apply, groups can apply at the level of pollination grant. Pollination grant, the maximum level of grant is $1,000, approximately 600,000. At least you can conduct a small project. Once you have a good project, it can be funded. Maximum is 1 month, and the project is funded. Next one, provide technical support for your project writers. Technical support, you need to have enough technical support for your project writers. You need to have a laptop, you need to have a modem, you need to have continuous data for their research, because you need to research. You are not creating anything, you are not creating any project. So they need to have technical support for your project writers, grantees, resource mobilizers. Resource mobilizers are people that look for money. If you want to go and see a donor, want to go and see an elite, you need to have resources. Give the person taxi money, taxi fare. Let the person dress well. Let the person go even hire the car and go and see a donor. When you go and see a donor, you are like wretched. The person will not take you serious. So you need to give enough resources for your resource mobilizations for the person to conduct these activities well. If you are organizing a fundraising, you need to conduct a door-to-door sensation to see those donors, those partners, those elites that can give you money. The next one is to create a partnership and network. Create a partnership and network. You need to have a partnership with other organizations. Like, for example, so much which maybe Anya and Domsa should have a partnership called a concrete platform where they can work together, and you network with other organizations, because there are cluster organizations. There's a WASH organization cluster that exists under the UN, where organizations that conduct health projects. They are found there where they meet and then they share ideas. They develop strategies together and they look for funding opportunities together. I've talked about network with other clusters, NGOs, and donors. Then be flexible, but be a master of your program. Be flexible and be a master of your program. What do I mean by that? For example, there are some NGOs that when the COVID-19 came out, they stopped existing because they were not flexible to migrate from face-to-face meeting to online meetings. So they just got wiped out. But there are new trends that comes in or new phenomena. You need to update yourselves. You should not just stick and since I was doing like that in the past, I will continue doing that way. So you need to be flexible, adapt to new changes, and get on and move on. But you should focus on what? Your program. Monitor, evaluate, and learn. Monitor, evaluate, and learn from new things that are coming up. It is very clear that there is nothing you can do now without adapting to these new trends of e-learning. Do things working from distance. It's clear you cannot do without it now because COVID has brought a lot of changes in our community now. So now the next one is what? Demand quality and not quantity. If you have a project that you want to carry on in your community, don't say you want to mobilize 1,000 persons or 10,000 persons. It's good that you take 10 persons and have create an impact for 10 persons that they will live to remember and share your testimony to the others. That you go and carry a crowd of people where maybe you have little resources to do it. And it's clear, please, with funding, it's good to ask for more money to do a quality work than to have less money and do a less work. Because at the end, you will create more problems than you solve. So go for quality and not quantity. Then, next thing, communicate frequently. Communication, people have to have a platform, Facebook platform, or WhatsApp platform, Instagram platform, Twitter platform, where you can be sharing your information again and again. That's how people get to know about you. People need to get to know about you through your Facebook handles. So you need to communicate frequently. Ask for feedback. Ask for feedback is that when you conduct a project, you need to you need to conduct an assessment. Was your project successful? How was it successful? What can we do next time to perfect it? When you go back and ask a feedback, people feel that maybe you want to do better. You want to do something that can be impactful. So it's always good to add a feedback. I want to link feedback and accountability. Accountability is something that is very, very important, where you need to cease from looking at your beneficiary as your beneficiaries or people that are suffering. Look at them as your stakeholders, because without them, you will not do anything. See your beneficiaries as your stakeholders, because without them, you are nothing. You need to explain to them, this is what I want to do. This was how much was given to me. That's for me to do this to you. And this is what I'm supposed to do to you. And this is what you're supposed to do to me. If we agree, then we'll go about it. Because if they refuse, you will do nothing, and then you will know there will be no way for you to report to your funder. So accountability has to account to. You account to what? To your stakeholders. You account to your stakeholders. This is what I have to do. This is a project that we want to do. Account for. It means you need to explain to your donors that this was what was given to me, and this is what I've done. I'm accounting for what I was supposed to do to my donors, and I account to my stakeholders what I'm supposed to do to them. Then I can be held accountable if I do something wrong. I need to be booked either by the authority or by my donor. If they gave me 10 million to execute a project and I use 5 million and I smuggle 5 million, I need to be held accountable. And if they ask me to go and conduct a project in my community, instead of doing my project, I go and seduce girls there, vulnerable children there, I need to be accountable for. I continue. Organize, people need to have enough workshops, attend workshops, seminars, capacity building, internal restitution. That's why internal restitution, that meetings where you go empower yourselves. Attending workshops. The best way to learn is through workshops, seminars, capacity building workshops. Forget about what you're learning in school, please. But while you're learning school, you learn but in workshop because that's where you do the real working. Where you meet people that are in the field, they share best practices. You learn from those best practices. Write enough projects and look for funders because they are there. Dedicate teamwork who are dedicate teamwork or team a team who are ready to work under pressure. Please, you can in humanitarian activity you cannot succeed if you cannot work under pressure. You must always be ready to work under pressure. Then lastly, stick to your principles of neutrality, independence, and humanity. You can choose. You can be neutral and not independent. You can be independent but not focusing on humanity. You can be focusing on humanity but not be independent. All is how you come up with your strategic plan. I think I rest my case because this is our last slide. Thank you very much for listening. The match is about to start. Thank you so much. So now it's time for questions. Thank you so much.